I learned a lot about the paperwork side of things, the public relations part of it, the advertising part, getting stuff actually manufactured, gifting stuff to celebrities, doing sample sales, carrying stuff, bubble coats down the street and wearing probably like 5 of them because you couldn't carry that many in 95-degree weather. And also writing a presentation on why I should just actually be paid for my, at least my travel.
Welcome back to Have a Map, where we take directions from our guests and hear their life stories. As you know, I'm Mo, the founder of Dim Events, and today I have my co-host, Ariana. Ariana, say what's up to the people.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ariana, so they have a point of reference.
Yeah, so I'm an intern for Dim Events. I work for the social media management team. I go to DePaul University, and I am going to be a senior, and I'm majoring in digital marketing. Hit me up with your social media request.
Instagram, tell them to follow you.
Yeah, follow me. It's at Ari, A-R-I, and then an X, and A-G-U.
Tell us a little bit of what you are listening to right now. Give me like one artist that you're really bumping right now.
Well, I have to say Kali Uchis. Like, I love her. And when her album came out, I would just listen to her, but I still just listen to her.
Okay, I'm gonna have to add that to my playlist. I'm not there yet. I need to.
You don't listen to her?
I have a very limited listening like space.
Oh.
Sundays are my days to vibe out of music. So Sundays I find like 2-3 artists and I just kind of go back and forth.
We need a playlist for you.
Yeah, we should create a Dim Events playlist. Open my eyes. And let's introduce who we will be taking directions from today. Tatiana. Tatiana, say what up to the people.
Hey, so much pressure. Hi, everybody.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? I'm learning new stuff about you today. So yeah, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I serve as, I guess I'm a Renaissance woman. So as of now, currently, I am digital support at iHeart Media. So all the digital social media marketing, all that, which I found interesting that they have digital marketing as a major now, which is so like, whoa, out of this world to me, but it should have been anyway. And then I'm also a director of strategy at Made You Look Studio Inc., which is my marketing firm and creative agency. And I teach upholstery. I can't forget that.
And you DJ.
And I DJ. Yes, I DJ. I'm DJing tomorrow too. Friday. So yeah.
I have to say that is actually how we met.
Yes.
Doing samples on our tour, and we kicked it. After that, got food. It was
that was a really good time. I had so much fun. Like, just think about that. And there's hasn't been any other event like that ever. So I'm ready for this COVID stuff to be over so we can do it again.
Me too. We might have to do it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what are you listening to? What, maybe you got a few artists, one artist that you're listening to?
Oh, I'm listening to everything. I'm listening to Kali Uchis too. I love everything she does with Tyler, the Creator. And just her stuff, her only stuff, like her EP just came out like maybe 2 months ago. It might be 3 months ago because COVID makes time really weird. What else am I listening to? I'm listening to a lot of old 90s stuff just because I like bridges and songs. Mm-hmm. I'm always, and a lot of Mariah Carey randomly, because I just went on one like YouTube and I just went down a whole hole of Mariah Carey, and next thing you know, I ordered vinyls from her. I made a mix for her, which was, I didn't know everybody felt the same way about her, like just the heartbreaking music, but then the love songs. So a lot of old Mariah, Future, of course, a lot of Drake, and I can't think off the top of my head, but a lot of stuff, because it's always just always something, especially when I'm mixing.
I love it. I love the diversity. And I just tweaked. I don't know why I didn't think I knew Callie Uchis. I know exactly who that is, Ariana.
Now, you remember.
I've listened.
I was gonna say.
I was so confused. I'm like, who? And then I was like, what's Tatiana kept talking about? I said, oh, I know. Creator. And I was like, I know that.
Yeah,
I know
Tyler,
that.
the
I
Creator.
missed that. I missed that.
I'm looking at my iPhone now. I can tell you exactly who I've listened to. A lot of Pharrell and a lot of Callie Uchis, because I keep playing I Want War But I Need Peace like 80 times. And The Game.
Good.
I love it. I love it. So we're gonna dive right into it. And we like to get deep in here. So
Oh shoot.
what is your impact on the world?
I can say it's all inspiration. I feel like, and I know just from what people have told me from before, I am the light. I am inspiration. And I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose as far as being someone that makes you want to be your authentic self and just be yourself and not hide who you are and just be what you want to be and let people know that you don't have to just do one thing. So I think that's my biggest impact, is showing like you can be good at multiple things. Yeah. Not just good, but great.
And I feel that. I feel like, and this is one of the reasons why we started this podcast, right? Because like everybody has their different paths, right? And it's a very unique path. And tracing through that path for you, right? I'm going to turn it over to Ariana, but where did it all kind of start, right, Ariana? Is that the direction we're going to go with too?
Yeah, so what was your path like after high school? Did you know from the very beginning, did you know what you wanted to do, or was it going through a lot of experiences over time help you figure out what you wanted to do?
I can say high school was more of a yep, you can do it, because it started kind of, I guess, in 4th grade. I wanted to either write for Highlights magazine or the Source magazine in 4th grade. And I had a Big Bird record player, and I used to play with it. It was my mother's, but I used to play with it. So it was always those things around. And then I had, in 4th grade, I had a Tyco video camera. And I used to play Oprah. I used to play like I was Jenny Jones. It was something like, I'm looking back now, it's always something in the making, but it's always just on a bigger platform. But in high school, I joined the DECA Club. It was a marketing club, and we got to present ideas. And then we went all the way to I guess it's the regionals, the state, and the nationals to California, and got to present and won. I was like, so you can really make a living off of telling people new ideas, and like you can make money from this? Like, it was like, I can do this. After that, college, I majored in fashion design, but I interned for Zach Posen. And after I came back from that internship, I was like, I don't need to go to school for this. I can just like kind of know this on my own. And my grandmother taught me how to sew. So I was like, I need to find another major because I don't need to go to school for this. And then that's when I got into marketing, and it's been like godsend ever since.
Damn, what school did you go to?
Middle Tennessee State University. Okay. Woo woo, Blue Raiders, even though I didn't go to one game, but still. I love that school. I appreciated the socialness of it, because it was literally down the street from my house, and I really wanted to go to Clark University, but my mom was like, there's a school down the street, so you need to go. And I was like, ooh, I didn't mean to curse, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay. We keep it real out here.
Okay, yeah, fuck.
So let's talk a little bit about maybe like some internship experiences that you had outside of that, right? We talked about a little bit off air, but you talked about like studying abroad and all of that stuff. So can you kind of talk through that experience, and what did you learn from that?
Yeah, I interned so I had the study abroad trip in England, London, England. I stayed there for like 4 months, and I interned at McCann. Oh, it's so big too. It's the biggest PR and marketing firm. They did they got the account for the 2011 or 2010 Olympics there, when they did the Olympics there. But I interned there, but it was more so about seeing museums and writing about art and journalism. But I interned more when I graduated college. I didn't really get to intern while I was in college, but while I was in college, I started my own magazine, and I did a radio show, and I did a blog. So I was kind of my own intern on that end, and that's helped me get to Fashion Week back in 2008. What else did we do? Oh, SCA Awards, the Southern Entertainment Awards, we covered that. And then that's what actually helped me even more to get the MTV UK position while I was in college. I went to London to study. I came back. I found people on MySpace. They worked at MTV and asked me, did I want to be a US correspondent? I said, yes. And they saw my writings from my magazine in college, so I got the job from that. So not even from other people, and then I got to intern for Zach Posen.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So yeah, your internships, but I feel like it traces who you are, right? Like your internships are saying that you can do all of these different things, and you just kind of like expanded upon that in life as well.
Yeah, and then even that was my first internship was with Zach Posen, and that was my first year of college. And I didn't have another internship until I graduated. So it was like between 2006 until a big old gap until 2010, 11 is when I got my second internship, and it actually was two. I interned at Exposure PR and Krupp Group, which were two PR companies, but they were totally different industries. One was fashion, the other one was fashion and magazine. So I worked the showroom there. I learned a lot about the paperwork side of things, the public relations part of it, the advertising part, getting stuff actually manufactured, gifting stuff to celebrities, doing sample sales, carrying stuff, bubble coats down the street and wearing probably like 5 of them because you couldn't carry that many in 95-degree weather. And also writing a presentation on why I should just actually be paid for my, at least my travel. So, yeah.
So
we didn't get paid.
Knowing your self-worth in there, huh?
Yeah, and I even told them, I was like, can y'all please hire me? Like, I will be a custodian or something. I just want to work here. I just need a paycheck, because I was literally interning for months in New York. I graduated and moved back to New York and interned, but I had to go all the way downtown to Tribeca. I lived in Westchester. So that was a Grand Central train ride plus a subway ride. So it's probably about a good $500 a month just to travel.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah. So now we're here though.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit, because I think it's interesting, and I think it's an interesting perspective, right? You talk about MySpace and where like Ariana is. Like, Ariana, what was the first social media platform you heard of when you kind of like grew up?
Probably be Facebook. I mean, I was like, I think in 7th grade when I did make a MySpace. Maybe I was young. No, I was like in 7th grade when I made a MySpace, but like right after I made one, it was like MySpace was over, like it was dead. Yeah. So then we all just like, everyone in my grade, we all just like went to Facebook, and then we just stayed on there.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about like this transition into like social media, because I feel like that is something that is hard to do, where we start off with like no social media to MySpace and then to Facebook and Instagram, right? So like, what does evolving in that world look like to you, Tatiana?
Well, I would say it started all the way back to AOL, when you had to type in the HTML codes to make the color backgrounds. I also had a Black Planet page too, and my cousin did it for me too, type in the HTML. But when I was in college, of course, that was the first Facebook, I guess, generation, because we had to have a college email address. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. And I remember getting on there and having to taking pictures with my disposable camera, going to Walmart, getting them on a disc, putting the disc on the line, and then tagging all my friends, and then some of the tags would go. It was a lot. From now to now, it's like, oh, just upload a picture from your phone really quick. But it was a cool transition because, and now that I'm like talking to you about it, I'm like, wow, that was a big transition going from Blogspot to making a blog on MySpace, because I looked on my MySpace page maybe a few years ago, and I still saw I had blogs on there. Like, I would actually blog on MySpace. But the transition and the evolution of it is so crazy, how it took forever to do one thing to communicate an idea to now just like typing something and you can get a whole new audience just off a hashtag. Because, you know, MySpace, you didn't use hashtags. Facebook, you didn't even use hashtags, but now you can use hashtags on both of those platforms. Well, not MySpace, but you get me.
No, that's real. I feel like, yeah, the newer generation doesn't really know too much about that transition because everything was so different, and like the sharing capabilities now are so fast and quick. Let's talk about Ariana. I'm gonna send it back over to you, but what other questions do you have for her?
So what does your day-to-day look like now?
Now it's, so pre-COVID or COVID?
Both.
Okay, pre-COVID, it was me I lived in the country, so I would go to my office. I had just got my office in January, mind you. Everything just happened and changed for me like quick. At iHeart, I had just started iHeart in January, so it was already going to be new for me anyway. But I go to my office, check my emails, of course, and then I get to writing. Like, I'm looking for local stories first to cover in Nashville, about 2 of them. And I really try to go for positive news because everybody, like the personalities that I work with at the radio station, I work with the rock, the pop, the hip hop, the talk radio, and it was the gospel station. So they would cover a lot of stories too, but I would cover the local ones. And then I go through the newsletters. I do the newsletters that go out nationally. After that, I would go eat lunch. Then I walk around to every studio in the whole building just to be nosy and just to kind of get a thought for the personalities, because I'm trying to think of new ways to do their social media. So I'm working on all the social media accounts, getting them on there, doing some boomerangs sometimes, doing videos, seeing if there are any third-party apps to use that make it look cooler. I'm always on the hunt for third-party apps because I just love the way they look. I like that cleanliness of it. And then I'll go back in my office because I love the people that I work with, and I need energy, and I love, you know, seeing what they're up to. But now, I guess during COVID, it's so much fun. I like it I think I like it better because I'm finding myself getting up. I would usually be working at like maybe 9 to 2 up there, but now it's like probably between you and I, well, us on here, it's probably like 6 to 10, which is probably about the same, but I get up really, really early. I'll go rollerblading first. I'll go make a smoothie bowl. I'll do some yoga. I'll read, and then I'll write my stories. And then another thing is, since I'm the director of strategic marketing at my company, I use my little timer thing here too, to make sure I'm always just like on task with my things, and I have a bunch of post-its everywhere. But checking out their social media, planning that strategy for the month, so I don't have to like keep looking at it every day. Then I'll go outside and go read again. I light a candle. I'm like, now that I live across the street from Home Goods, I like 2 mass stuff and go over there, come back, and then I might write another few stories. But just always thinking of new ideas of how to market contests and stuff that we have going on for the radio station, because even though people may not, it seems like they don't listen to the radio, they're listening. I noticed it when I first started working at iHeart. They interviewed me like, oh, we got a new face in the building. And I got back on Facebook, and like all my friends like, oh my God, you're at iHeart now. I'm like, how did you know? You're like, we listen to the radio. I'm like, oh, like y'all listen? Like, this is crazy. But a lot of people do listen to the radio, and then it's also an app too. So you can always get on with us on the app too.
Nice. That kind of actually ties into my next question. So because of the whole quarantine thing, it's kind of important to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. So, a big trend right now is self-care. So for you, I know you've mentioned a lot of things that help you out from your day-to-day life right now. So how do you practice self-care right now?
Therapy is one. Plenty of therapy lately. My father passed back in March from COVID, and I had been wanting to go to therapy for a while, but because of my moving, I was in the middle of moving. I literally just, I had gotten a car accident. My car was totaled. Like, it was just a lot. And I was just like, I can't do therapy right now. But after he passed away, and it was like, COVID was going on, it was like everybody's offering virtual therapy session. I was like, yep, it's time. So that helps me a lot. Also just finding just taking all technology out of the room, because I'm literally on my phone and on the computer most of the day. And it's like, I love books. Like, I don't know if you see, but I have a bunch of books there, and I have a bunch of records where they at, right over there too. But I love music, and I love reading. So I love paperback books, and I love hardcovers. So I'm like, I'll put my phone and everything away, and I'll just go outside and read. I also love writing. Besides on my computer, I have like 11 notebooks. And I just literally yesterday, I finished writing the final story for my coloring book that I'm gonna have coming out really, really soon. I'm excited about. But and then taking baths in the middle of the day, since we can, like, we're at home now. So I'll be like, I'm doing too much. Time to take a bath. And I'll just go take a bath. I'll close the door. I'll put my candles on, and I'll just like zone out and act like I'm not even at work.
That sounds so relaxing.
It is. It's like starting the day over.
Never thought about that. I might have to try that out.
Yeah, it'll change your life. You're like, oh, I can do this over. Like, everything's new after that.
I will say, and definitely have our condolences for your father. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
And I can definitely say COVID has been very interesting, right? Because we live in such a digital age compared to like before, when MySpace and all that stuff was happening. Like, you can really do a lot of your job at home now.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the blessings that we've seen through COVID, is that you don't always have to go in, right? And I think we're able to recharge and do a lot more self-care and reflection during this time, because you have to sit at home with yourself, right? And that's a tough task for a lot of people. Through COVID, right? What have been some maybe like new projects that have stemmed from this quote unquote isolation, even though Nashville is not really isolated
at all? They are outside. They are at the bars on rooftops. Like, what's up? They are. But for me, finishing the final part, I've been working on this book since 2016. So I finished it yesterday, and I have the illustrator illustrating. So that's one thing that's like really, really big for me, because it's just something I've been working on for a long time. And then also teaching upholstery. I've been teaching for 3 years now, and this was the first year where it got canceled, and they were just cutting school altogether because of budgets. But then they brought the school back, but the budget was really small, and I was like, I get paid more, because they still wanted me to teach virtually, but I would get paid more if I just did it on my own, because the biggest thing I had from them was that I can use the actual school, but it didn't make any sense. But now I'm teaching my class virtually, so that's going to be August 4th. It's going to be the first time I ever teach virtually. And then DJing a lot of stuff virtually. I just did a party, tell a friend. It was the second time we did. But we had like a real big show. Like I had screens behind me and everything. Friday, I'm DJing Acme Rooftop. That's going to be a virtual event too. And they're allowing like one person, if you RSVP and you actually win, you get free food from one of my restaurant clients, which is a big win. And then I'm DJing the event. So that's a big win too. What else have I been doing? I'm looking at my posters to see if I see anything. And then just taking on more clients. Like I just got the other restaurant. I got Coneheads, Rhythm and Spice. His, the owner's mother, she runs the farmer's market down here. So he was telling her about me. So she wants me to do like the social media for them. And then making websites and staying productive and just trying to get my own stuff together. But I just keep doing everybody else's stuff. But one day, and making masks. I'm gonna start. I finally printed out a pattern, because people keep asking me if I'm gonna make masks. And I'm like, yeah, when I get time. I'm working on people's chairs and couches and stuff. So that's like, afterwards. But now I'm like, okay, I have time, so I'm gonna start doing those too.
You're so productive.
I'm trying. It keeps me like going, but I do rest. I literally, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I went to New Orleans last weekend just to work from the hotel. Like I just wanted to be in a new surrounding, eat good food, and just be in a different space. So that was really nice.
That's beautiful. One thing I wanted to do, and with your social media experience, I think it's amazing, right? But one thing we always like to do is see, like, what type of advice would you give to younger creatives who are looking to dive into this social media space, right? You seem to continue to gain more clients during COVID, which is truly a blessing, because a lot of people are just kind of like losing clients or like having to move back home. And I know it's very tough in this creative industry, but can you give some advice of ways that you've continued to persevere and continue to grow your clientele and your audience as well?
Stay consistent, at least with your days, and plan it. Even if there might be days where you don't feel like posting. Like today, I didn't feel like posting, but luckily I planned it out a couple of days ago when I found out I was DJing this. So I was like, oh no, I just have to post that and I'll be good. But planning out stuff really, really helps. And then also getting the list out. Like I have this list pinned to my thing here, but it's a list of all the Black-owned restaurants in Nashville. So finding out who you want to be your client is a good idea, and finding other restaurants or businesses like those and making a list of them and checking them out. Because a lot of times, I know it's COVID, you can still go in and, see what they're doing and say, hey, like I do marketing. I'd like to have you as a client. And then you might want to do a little free service. Like, let me just show you something that you can do within a week to show results and show why you should get paid for what you're doing. Because a lot of businesses are going to say now, like, they don't have it. And it's like, no, I'm going to make you money, though. So you're going to have it because I want money. So you're going to be helping them out a lot. But showing, and even if you don't have clients, make up a client and put it on Instagram and show just the different graphics and different things you can do for people on there.
Oh, I think that's sound advice. Any other questions you would ask Ariana before we wrap up today?
Actually, if you were to give yourself your older self, like 10 years ago, advice, what would you tell yourself? It can be career-wise or just like about self-care, growth, any advice that you wish you had when you were younger, starting off your career.
I would definitely say use the calendars that you have, all those notebooks. Use them instead of just writing in them all day. That's one thing, because I realize when I don't have systems, and I keep hearing every time I listen to a podcast, I was like, when I have a system, I make more money. Like, even with my upholstery, people like, oh, how much does it cost to get this upholstery? I'm like, well, fill out my form. Same thing with DJ. Oh, fill out my form, because it weeds everything out, and then it has everything in one place, and it automatically go on my calendar. It'll automatically go into, I can have pictures to like approve and disapprove of different things. But have a system in place, because it'll save you a bunch of time. You won't have to go back and forth in emails. A templates and forms, get them together. That's what I would tell myself. Get them together. Just do them now so you don't have to do this later. And I'm telling myself that right now too. I got some more forms to get together.
I love that honest advice. I love that. I want to thank you so much for being on our third episode of this podcast. I reached out to you, and you was just like, yeah, you let me know. And you followed up and you was like, hey, what's up? What's up with
Yeah. I'm like, what do you have to do?
Get this schedule.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you so much. And great job, Ariana. Great co-host. Thank you. And usually what we like to do at the end, we just give like a round of applause. That's what we do on our virtual meetings. A virtual round of applause for Tatiana.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you again. And we'll close out episode 3 of this. So thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.